What's up, math fans? This video is how to use a distributive property, what it is, how to use it, and solving equations with it. Alright, so quick, what's 5 times 13? Yeah, I don't know either, but I know how to figure it out. So I'm going to show you using this rectangle, a couple of ways to figure it out. So they might say, look at the rectangle, find the area of the rectangle, and you would say, the area, well, that's length times width, that's 5 times 13. Not sure what it is. Let's say you do know what it is and you write your answer here. That's great, but what if you could find it a different way? What if I did this? I got about 13. I'm going to break it up into pieces. 10 and 3. Still 13, isn't it? I just 10 here and 3 here. So now if I find the area of this guy, 10 times 5 is 50. Everybody knows that. And 5 times 3, most people know that pretty quick. 15, and now I see a 50 and a 15, and my total area is 65. So 13, the original 13 times 5, 65. So if you know it, great, but it's a cool way to break down numbers. If I said, I don't know, 22 times 5, you could do the same thing with the 22. You could break it up into 20 and 2, and it'd be a little easier to do the pieces. All right, so that's the trick. When you multiply big numbers, you break them up into numbers that you actually know. And that is a demonstration of the distributive property. You're welcome. Show's over. Here, let me show you in slow motion what I did. I started with 5 times 13, but I didn't like it, so I rewrote it as 5 times 10 plus 3. 10 plus 3, you gotta agree with me, is 13. And then I did 5 times 10 first. And then after the 5 times 10, I did the 5 times the 3. And what's the last thing I did? I added them. So I had 50 and 15, and that's where I got my 65 from, and that's an application of the distributive property. I'm sure you see it in letter form like this. A times B plus C is A times B plus A times C. Okay? I'm multiplying whatever's outside by the 2 terms inside. And guess what? It also works if this was a minus sign. So even though it's harder to draw a diagram for it, let's say instead of 13, it was 19, you could do it with 20 minus 1 is 19. So it works with plus and minus signs. Same formula, you're just changing the operation. That's it, that's the distributive property. Here's an application. Let's say I said, thanks for waiting, you guys are patient. Let's say I said that the total area is 65. I'm giving you the answer. Total area 65. And I'm going to tell you that this is 3, but I'm going to say, oh, but you don't know what this is. I bet you don't know. I bet you don't know. So basically the algebraic way of showing that, and this is for most algebra students, so I would set up an equation. I would say, okay, 5 times x plus 3, because from here to here is x, from here to here is 3, so that's x plus 3. 5 times x plus 3, that is total area, 65. Okay, so all that fancy rectangle talk, you can kind of forget about it. You can rewind and check it out again, but you can kind of forget about it. This is basically the point of distributive property in algebra. You see something like this, you see parentheses, and you're like, I don't know what x plus 3 is. You're not supposed to know it's 13. That was just an example. I don't know what it is. I can't combine them. They're not like terms. The only thing I can do is distribute or multiply out. 5 times x, I know they're not like terms, but you can still multiply them to get 5x, because 5x means 5 times x. 5 times 3, plus sign drops down. It's a positive 3, so that's 15, equals 65 drops down. This looks so familiar. If only I knew how to... Yeah, I did see a video on solving 2-step equations. I'm going to subtract 15 on both sides because I want x on one side and numbers on the other. Keep my balance. Goodbye, 15. 5x drops down. 65 minus 15 is 50. And that's no coincidence, by the way. And divide by 5 on both sides. X equals 10. Hooray! Now you already knew that from my earlier diagram, but my point is, if you don't know it, distributive property helps a lot, okay? So you distribute, turn it into a 2-step, turn it into a 1-step, and you're done. So if you don't know any of these steps, check out my video on 2-step equations, check out my video on 1-step equations. That's pretty much it. If you get it, cool, thanks for watching. I'm gonna do a super difficult one. This kind of puts everything together. I hope you can see the whole thing. All right, you can't see me, but you can see the math. So, I see parentheses, I see a 4. I see parentheses, I see a 3. Oh, be careful, that's a -3. You want me to point at it again from this side? That's a -3, okay? And then I say equals 29. Good thing I don't have to worry about that side. There's nothing to do there. Handle this. It's so much to do. Do I do this? No. No. The 4 is attached to the parentheses only. I'm not going crazy. There's no super distributive right now. Take it easy. Take it easy. We're going to go here and here. When I distribute, the operation I'm using is multiplication. 4 times 2r is 8r. 4 times 1 is 4, so that's a +4. Good? Now, didn't I say this was a 3? I just distributed the 3. It's almost like you can ignore this whole thing and just distribute a 3 and forget about the rest of the equation. But it's not just a 3, it's actually a -3. Oh, but Professor Noor, isn't that a -3? A -3 and a -3 behave the same way. So you do what makes it easiest for you. If you -3, you go backwards 3 steps. If you get hit -3, you still go backwards 3 steps. Negative and minus, same thing. Okay, so I'm going to look at this as a -3 because it's going to help me down here. -3 times 2r is -6r. See what I did there? You could say -6r if you want. It's the same. -3 times -5. This is where everybody messes up. A negative times a negative is a positive. You have to switch that sign there. Plus 15. 3 times 5 is 15. Negative times negative, positive 15. Equals 29. That's the easiest part. Drops down. Hopefully you understand what like terms are. Put the cats with the cats and the dogs with the dogs. Do not mix the breeds. So I got 8 wrappers and 6 wrappers. Combine them to get 14 wrappers, right? Whoa. It's a -6. 8 and -6, or 8 minus 6, because negative minus is the same. That's going to combine to give me 2 wrappers. Here are no wrappers, just dollars. Don't put wrappers and dollars together either, cats and dogs. So, +4, +15, that's +19. And if you can get down to this step, well then, great success, because it's a 2-step equation, which you are masters at. Begging you to be masters at it. Get the 19 out of there. Goodbye. 2r equals, I hope that's 10. All right, check my work. Don't just watch videos. Do some work. Now we're going to divide by 2. Divide by 2. And r equals 5. I don't want to say that's as hard as it gets, but that's pretty complex. I know it's a pretty big jump from here to here. So if you can handle it, then you can handle harder problems too. All right? Distributive property. Thanks for watching. See ya.